Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we begin our 6th ever Director's Spotlight. We've done Wes. We've done Christopher Nolan. We've done Greta Gerwig. We've done Martin Scorsese. We've done David Fincher. And now, in anticipation of his new film coming Christmas Day, Michael Mann is next up on the docket. In anticipation, the man, Michael Mann. In anticipation of Ferrari, we'll be discussing 5 Michael Mann movies, and it begins today with Thief. It premiered March 27th, 1981. The screen story and screenplay were both by Michael Mann, based on a book by Frank Hoemer, and directed by Michael Mann. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Now, this was a first viewing, not just a first viewing of this film, but a first viewing of any Michael Mann movie, period, for you here, huh?
Yeah, completely. The only one that I have viewed at all in my life was Miami Vice, and my dad was watching it just in the living room already, and I came in near, I don't even know when, but I only sat in for like 5 minutes.
Right.
So that's the only one that I have any recollection at all of. And so even Miami Vice, I know basically zero. But this one was completely fresh. Haven't even really heard much of it, I think, even before. Usually, if it's one of the movies on here, I'll like have heard some stuff, seen some clips somewhere over the time. But no, this one was
I would say that as of yet, save for maybe a couple of the Wes Anderson movies, this is probably our deepest cut yet in terms of like a little bit more of a niche film that, you know, I'd be willing to, like, my dad had never heard of the movie Thief. He loves James Caan. You know, that's one of his favorite actors. So, like, R.I.P. by the way.
Sonny, wasn't he Sonny?
Yeah. Sonny Corleone, yes.
I think I out loud at the end of the movie was like, "You better go get him, Sonny." I called him Sonny in that moment. But my dad is the opposite. He I told him I just watched this and we're covering. He goes, "Oh, I love that movie. I had the vinyl." He had the vinyl. Literally. And I was, before he even said this, I was going on a scavenger hunt across the internet to try to find this vinyl, and it immediately pulled up on Spotify, and I'm like, oh, this is the fastest ad I've ever had. Can't listen to it. It's grayed out, not available. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I have Apple Music still. My family also has iPhones. I have that login. Let me see. It's on there, but you can only preview it. It's not the full songs. It's only 1 minute and 30 seconds of each song.
I'm pissed.
And then this YouTube version, it's not even it's a lot of, it's not even, I don't know, it's different, but it's good. It's good enough. I'm okay. I'm just pissed that my dad sold all of his vinyls.
Yeah, right. You're like, you had the Thief soundtrack and you gave it away. Yeah, that's obviously something you've come away from this in the brief discussion we've had prior to the pod. You enjoyed the score quite a bit, huh?
I did. I usually don't notice it in movies at all, unless it. I don't know. I noticed it in movie like Tron. I mean, that's one of my all-time goats right there. Interstellar. I noticed it. A lot of Star Wars and big iconic soundtracks. It's pretty noticeable. But this one was kind of similar to like a Clockwork Orange in the way I like it. It just felt like it gave the movie this different sort of feel. Yeah. And I liked it. I guess maybe the people in the 80s didn't rather enjoy it. But I definitely did. At the Razzies was nominated for Worst Movie Soundtrack,
Damn shame.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that being the case. I mean, it was by Tangerine Dream, who's there's a little bit of a back and forth there in terms of quality under Tangerine Dream's belt. But I see, for me, I didn't have any feelings one way or another about this score. I didn't love it. I certainly wasn't like, well, this is one of the worst. This deserved a Razzie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it didn't win the Razzie. It was nominated for the Razzie, so that's important.
Fair enough.
But I have a great time with this movie. This was a second viewing for me. I watched it a couple months back after I went on a little Michael Mann streak for a couple months back, where I watched Heat, Collateral, and this, and I don't remember the order particularly, but this is the only of Michael Mann's films that is featured in the Criterion Collection. And I fucks with the Criterion Collection, so I was like, well, this movie must have something. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole idea for the Criterion Collection is preserving and cataloging film and preserving it for the future. And if this is worth preserving, which I think all art is, but if it's in the ranks there, it must be pretty solid. So I watched it shamefully for the first time on my phone.
Oh no!
Yeah. First viewing was on my phone, which I know I try not to do that. I try not to do first viewings on my phone, but I did, and I will say, I loved the movie then. I watched it on that Criterion Collection Blu-ray on my TV, cleaned up. Oh man. Yeah. I didn't realize just how good this movie was. And that's a rule I do have. If I do watch a movie for the first time on my phone, I do have to watch it on my TV.
Okay. That's fair
because
enough.
If I came away not liking it, there's a really good chance I do actually, if it's the way it's supposed to be seen. This was not one of those. I do enjoy this movie a great deal.
I think I know one movie that stands out like a sore thumb that I saw in a shitty ass copy that I downloaded it. I didn't give a shit about the movie, so this is why. It was Morbius. And I saw it. It was terrible quality, just on a copy of it. I don't think I'll watch that movie again and then be like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure my feelings will stay there.
My only viewing of The Flash earlier this year was on that. It was one of those as well.
True.
I probably won't watch that again until we get to it in our comic book movie project. But
this one,
and even so, watching it on my phone, it's obviously much more clear than a shitty copy. It's just there's just not the scale. You don't have the size. You don't have the screen. It's not how a movie is supposed to be watched, and I understand that, but I do it anyway because I'm at work and I get to do whatever the fuck I want.
At least you're watching the movie,
Exactly.
At least it is being watched.
Exactly. But yeah, that's the thing, is that Thief, it's worth every ounce of your attention. It was a 2-hour movie. How do you feel about the pacing of this bad boy? Did it kind of fly by you, or was it a bit of a slow burn for you?
I mean, I don't really think there's any time to sit with what's going. I mean, this dude is just on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Like, his life never slows down. I think, like, the only time it does slow down is probably with Jesse. A few moments, like, you have the diner scene, which is incredible. That's the
longest scene in the movie. That one goes.
Was awesome.
That's my favorite scene of this movie.
Is it Caan or Caan?
I've always said James Caan.
James Caan. Okay, that looks right. I'd imagine so. But James Caan, he was very proud of this scene. In the trivia, he said, I don't know, this was his favorite scene that he filmed in the whole movie. And I see. I mean, it was just incredible, like an incredible piece of character work for both of them.
Absolutely.
And
it's the most crucial part of the movie. Without it, you lose all the heart of the main character, Frank, because it's so crucial to understand him to even begin to like him, because he does a lot of terribly unlikable shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
It says a lot of terribly unlikable shit. But understanding where he came from and sort of digging into that there with Tuesday Weld as Jesse there. Absolutely. And one of the most beautiful looking scenes in the movie. There were so many moments that, like, I almost wish we were doing a live commentary of the film so that I could go, this shot right here. I love this shot right here.
Yeah.
And then like, that's all I'd really have to say. Like, it's not like I can pick it apart and be like, oh, and here's what's beautiful. No, this shot is fucking awesome. This shot is fucking awesome. This shot is fucking awesome. But, that scene, the way we like ease into it, there's, this tracking shot of them entering the diner and walking all the way to their table. And then the camera sits, they sit down, and there's like a couple cuts, back and forth. But when they return to that, the depth of field sort of thing where the foreground is blurred and then it's them in focus and then the lights in the background are blurred. Ooh, God damn.
Yes.
So it's beautiful to look at. It's the most important piece of character work in the movie. I had no doubt that it was my favorite scene. Fucking brilliant.
I saw, whenever I was on my watch, I put a scene that happened before this in there when it happened. And I'm like, oh, that scene was awesome. I love it. I'll slide it in there. And then I'm about to put this one in, this diner scene when it pops up, and I see you got it. So I'm like, okay, fair enough. I think it is probably inarguably the most important and crucial scene to the movie. That's for sure. Like, lays out his whole plan. This is like, he's like, this is my life. This is what I want. In his little picture. Like, I think that's, honestly, I think we should do more of that. Obviously he's in prison, he's just,
it's his little vision board,
that's awesome. I don't know. I've never really, seen someone like carrying that around in your wallet, all the time, being like, if someone ever asks you, like, what's your plan? What do you want to do? Just boom. He's got skulls on it and shit. That's weird, but he does explain it, and it does come around. I think
the dead people,
a pretty cool moment, like whenever, what's his friend in prison, 𝗏𝗀, yeah.
Love Willie Nelson as 𝗏𝗀.
Oh man, yeah. Whenever he passes away, and he's like, "Oh my son's born right whenever 𝗏𝗀 passes." He doesn't say like that it's referring to the skulls or like that. But he just sit there with them, and I don't know that's it's called back to a lot, like that his dream and everything.
Oh yeah.
And, I don't know. I thought that scene was incredible, but the one I did end up choosing before, and I don't think anything after it really hit me the same way. There were some cool scenes, but I really loved Frank and Leo's first interaction. He's going up. He just shook down that guy at the plating.
Plating company office. Yeah,
whatever that guy is.
Another beautiful piece of imagery there with them in the office.
Dude,
and the bridge in the background.
You could see cars going all along, and he takes the chair, puts it on the side, and everything. And
dude hasn't looked up yet, and he looks up and he's like, "Wait, what the fuck is this?"
What are you doing, dog? But no, he's like, "No, I'm gonna call you 3 hours. We'll set up a meet, and the meet is my scene."
Meat is good.
Whenever he shows up there, and like at first I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna shoot at this guy, like they want to whack him, and I think Leo is like trying to keep him there, like I didn't know if he was 100% sincere in being like, I want to talk business with you, I want to be a business partner. I thought it was like, I'm just trying to get you to stand still, so if my guy's a clean shot and we want to take it, you can take it,
right?
And then it actually, I think like he puts his leg like up on the car and like over his body. And I'm like, oh, like it seems like, that's just kind of his way of being like, don't shoot the guy. We're getting somewhere. Like this conversation's going well.
There's a lot of that little subtle references throughout the movie that I really, really appreciate. But that scene again, like there's not a dull looking moment in this movie. You could point to any still in the movie and you will be satisfied. Like, I mean, the city in the background, the water, the bridge, the way that he utilizes Michael Mann as a visual storyteller, like reflections and, dude, I loved it. I loved that shit.
I mean, it was like it was so surprising because it's not the happiest movie, like it's, and like usually I associate like good visuals with like a good time in a movie usually, or I don't know, like we were talking about how like it kind of mirrors Wes Anderson a little bit, or Wes was inspired by Michael Mann a little bit, and I'm like, what? At first I'm like, what, dude? I'm like, in what way? Because I'm, Wes all colorful, vibrant, very clean, and then you sent me some stills, and I'm like, oh no, I see
No,
it
there's
now.
there's
Like,
there's an
like,
influence there,
it's,
and there will
yeah.
continue to be an influence there. And I would have never picked it up had it was recently. I can't remember if it was at Cannes or the Venice Film Festival, but it was when he was putting on the premiere for Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. And he mentions that Michael Mann has been a big influence on him. Spike Lee was a big influence on him. And so, like, I never would have put together the Michael Mann thing until he said that. Like, and then once you start looking for it, it's pretty evident. Like, that shot I was talking about in the diner, like,
it's perfect
because it's not like it's not a shaky cam. It's very clearly on like a dolly, and it's clearly being rolled right down, and then it comes to a stop, and it's just it's very, very well done, you know. And there are obvious differences. Wes, that's why it's an influence and not a carbon copy. You know, it's not like he's trying to be Michael Mann. He's trying to take what he likes from Michael Mann and expand on it.
That's the crazy thing, is that, like, if Wes didn't bring it up, I mean, there's no way I'm even coming close to making that realization. And it's like, it just kind of goes to show, like, the different ways that people watch movies. Like, you know, I bet a filmmaker or someone who is like a director or cinematographer, like, that's the shit they focus on, you know, like that, or maybe not totally, but they'll be like, oh wow,
but it'll stand out to them even more evidently.
Yeah. And I don't know, it'll be interesting to see, like, in his next movies, if it continues, you know, if
I haven't seen Manhunter, but I have seen Heat, and there's a few shots, like, in my head where I'm like, oh yeah, no, for sure, cool. You know, but cool. Wow, no, there's some gorgeous imagery in this movie, you know. I think that something, you know, I think it clearly influenced Wes, another filmmaker that we have also discussed, who I think this film specifically has a massive influence on, is David Fincher. David Fincher, I felt like I was watching basically a David Fincher movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot of similarities to The Killer. I think it goes on to influence Matt Reeves with The Batman. I think there's a lot of that there. You know, like that literal setting in that office where he scoots the chair onto the side of the desk, and you got the window above, and there's action going on outside. I thought of that scene from The Batman where he's in the room with Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, and like a train goes by outside, and you can see it in the background, and it's like a high window, and it's like, okay. So, you know, there's no way of telling if that's like a direct homage to this scene in Thief or anything by Matt Reeves, but like it's bled through in a way, this visual sensibility that Michael Mann has, where I think Matt Reeves is more obviously influenced by David Fincher, but I think David Fincher is more obviously influenced by Michael Mann, you know, and it just keeps, you know, the lineage passes on and stuff, you know.
I do have to get it in my mind that this is 81 that we're talking about. A lot of the other, I guess, like, spotlights that we've done, they don't usually go back that far, right? I guess, this what was Bottle Rocket? That was
95? Yeah, this is the oldest movie for a spotlight we've done yet.
Because then The Prestige, I mean, that's the 2000s.
Oh, 6. Fight Club's 98, 99, 99.
King of Comedy?
Yeah, this is definitely.
When was King of Comedy?
82.
Okay.
82, so still.
So Scorsese would have been close, and After Hours. So that's more in the time period, I guess. That's where I got to get my head around. But no, I guess like the reason I was bringing that up is the score. I just am a big fan of 80s music, and anything synthy I love. So maybe that's why I was drawn to it. And like, now that you, like, there was an award, or I think it actually won this award at the Stinky Awards, whatever the fuck that is. It was the most intrusive music score, instead of just like worst musical score. I don't think the music itself is bad, but I could see at some points where it just kind of, it's like, but I loved it. I thought it was like, oh, I'm fucking into 80s, man. I was like,
no, and I kind of take it to be sort of, there are extended periods of time in this movie where nobody speaks, and it becomes sort of this fantasia of beautiful imagery along with music to go with it. And I think it's an excellent choice. Like, specifically the LA Job, like that heist where they hardly speak, and they light the fucking stick, and it's melting, and it's shooting sparks, and there's smoke, and the guy's spraying the fire hydrant. Like, there is nothing said in that scene for the most part, and it ends with him just sitting back and like being like, "Fuck yeah, we did that shit."
Yeah,
And it was a very close contender for my favorite scene in the movie, simply for the fact that it got so much across without saying a fucking thing. And it took up a good 7-8 minutes of screen time, and I was glued, you know.
Like
it's
even
brilliant.
the opening just job that's going on, you know, you don't have anything. You're just like, oh shit, okay, we're in. This looks pretty clean, pretty planned, pretty well executed here, you know, and then he just walks along, you know, he's just taking a walk along the like waterfront, stops by a guy fishing, calls him captain. That's like the first words that are spoken is like, "What's up?" You know, or I think he calls him captain, something like that. I don't know, but
it's definitely something like that.
At first, I'm like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Wait, what the shit? We just got done with some heist, and then now he's going out giving this dude a Danish, just chilling, you know, having a good morning." And then he goes to a fucking his car, you know, he owns a car dealership, whatever. He's a car salesman. It's like, okay. I'm like, what is, like, I was so confused at the beginning, but not necessarily, like, I was glued though. Like, it was just so visually amazing. Like, that whole first sequence was awesome. Like parking the cars down in the parking garage, getting the cars out. Like,
very fun piece of trivia about that first heist is that that's a real vault that was purchased for $10,000 specifically so that James Caan could break into it.
Damn,
using real tools and techniques supplied by an actual thief who was a consultant on the film.
Tutorial. Well, I guess they didn't really say what model that safe was. They did say the big kahuna, you know. I don't even know if that's a real safe company. They could have just made that up completely, I guess. But wow, he actually just a real thief, you said, was like, they were like, hey, how would we do this shit? And like, they're like, all right, yeah, sure. We'll
they said there was a consultant. It says there's a consultant on the film who was a former thief. Reformed.
Yeah, like, you know, I guess those people exist, you know, like they did their time, they're out, and they're just living a normal life now, and were huge ass criminals. That's kind of crazy. That is nuts. Man, but I love the, like, how this it had a mob boss or like mob kind of feel to it, but it's not the same. It is a little bit different. This is just straight crime. There's no like territory gain. There's no, I don't know, not like, oh, Timmy John offended my guy. I gotta whack him now because he's saying the wrong thing.
Fuck my wife, you know.
Yeah, no, it's literally just like, hey, we there's 5 alarms. We need them jammed. He's like, how are we gonna do this? It's like, all right, this is how we're like. They're so quick about it. Like everything that's planned, it's like, I'll take care of it. I got it. And it's just no repeating. Like no one repeats themselves. Everyone is like just so confident in what they can do. Specifically, I'm thinking of when they're up on the rooftop with all the blueprints, looking at the building.
Another beautiful series of imagery there.
And like just Leo, played by Robert Prosky. I thought he was just like, he fit the bill just like perfectly.
Oh yeah, spot fucking on.
You know, like, I'll be your father. You know, if you like my son, I give you whatever you need. You know, just anything at all. Like that was in the like meetup scene when they're first talking to each other, and you know, just letting them know, you know, his side of the business sort of thing, and like their relationship. I thought, like, I'm debating on going with Robert Prosky as Leo just because, like, for character, just because, like, I thought he was the perfect I don't know, just kind of like crime boss.
Oh yeah, it was a brilliant role,
like
right there.
His monologue that he had, whenever like he got done killing what his friend's name that was with him. I think like his partner. Is it Barry?
Barry, played by Jim Belushi.
Okay, then Barry gets, you know, he's dead, and then they're at where were they? Like, what was that? The plating factory or something that they put like his body into?
Probably.
Dude,
That's where my money's at.
That was kind of cool. Like, it was like he was all dazed, and then he like just woke up there. You know,
Dude,
it was him passed out on the ground or whatever.
And then the imagery of Leo standing over him upside down, speaking to him. Fucking loved that. Another one that I felt was a very obvious influence on David Fincher with Fight Club, with Brad Pitt staring down at the guy over the top of the camera. You know, like this is, like I said, first time I watched it on my phone and I really liked it, and I was like, this is really good. I fucking love this movie now. Like, this is an absurdly good movie, man.
It like, my expectations were, I don't know what to expect.
Right.
Literally brand new for me. I have no idea. And I came out of it being like, oh man, this soundtrack, one of my favorite just movie soundtracks, like, of all time. I put top 5, top 10 comfortably, I'd say. I notice it very heavily. And then I'm like James Caan, sorry. I loved him in Godfather, but like, I didn't really, like, I love The Godfather. I love this way more, like, than like, I will comfortably say I put this above The Godfather any day. And either Sonny or Frank, I'm taking Frank. Frank is, he's a very interesting character, like, cause like, I was rooting for him at the, you know, like, I'm fully rooting for this guy.
There's a little more of a nuance to Frank where, you know, anything he gets, he earns. You know, like, that is his bag. You know, when it came to Sonny Corleone, he was the oldest son. He was going to be handed the boss title after his dad was gone.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, and he carried himself like a gentleman who had it made and will always have it made. Like, that's why he was so volatile, grew up in the mob scenery, you know, like, and there's a fundamental difference between being the guy who is tertiary mob and the guy who is the successor to the crown, basically. You know, like, I love the way that, like you were saying, this isn't a mob movie, but it shows how, even if, like, I think it puts on display more so than pretty much any other mob movie so succinctly just how fucking terrible it is to even kind of get involved, because you do not have the power. You know, like, no matter what, you can't trust a fucking word this guy says.
Oh yeah.
He'll say all the right things and he'll get you to do what he needs you to do, but once you're in, you are fucking in, you know?
There's no getting out unless you do what Frank did, you know, like, that's the only choice you got at that point. But like, I don't know, for me, it even felt like a little comic booky at some points. Like, going to the like toolsmith guy or whatever, you know, he's like, hey, I'm cutting, here's the blueprint. I'm cutting through, you know, I need to get through it. What can you do? You know, he's on the phone while talking to somebody while he's like he's literally like measuring the blueprint in the background. And then he's, you know, after the phone call, he's like, hey, so what can you do? You know, like, in the 30 seconds I gave you to think about cutting through the most sophisticated safe in the world, what do you got for me? And he's like, give me a week. I got this. And it's like, it's like, or like, you're talking about like 8,000 degrees. You're talking like, you know, or whatever. He's like, are you sure about this? Is it worth it? No, it's worth it. You know, he's like, oh, it's definitely felt like, Daredevil going to that one dude to build his, costume or whatever in like the Netflix show, or, I don't know. It felt like just like a side mission that a hero goes on, for some reason to me a little bit. And it's, even like, when I'm just remembering scenes, like, almost every scene was something. It was just the next piece to the story. Like, I mean, it was just moving, bam, bam.
Oh yeah,
bam.
No, and it's very, very succinct. Like, it tells its, and there is obvious time jumps that they don't even dwell upon. Like, we're just there, and that's that. You know, 𝗏𝗏 getting out of prison, 𝗏𝗏 dying, them getting their kid, them, you know, like, I feel like their relationship is developed really fast, but that's because it developed really fast for them. I don't think it was like I don't think that was like well, we just got to cut something down. No, like, this is They went to that diner. He was like, will you be my girl? Will you go steady with me? Essentially. And she was like, yeah. And they were married. Like, that was it,
Let's cut the bullshit, or whatever. Like,
what do you got going on in your life that's so great,
Yeah. It's like, okay, man. I don't know. Like, you could.
Yeah.
Like,
no, there's a lot of shit that he says that is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, straight up shitty, not kind of shitty, but,
my quote comes from when when was this? I think
he was late to picking her up.
So they're in the car on the way to the diner. Is this when he says
yes.
this?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh yeah. What do you think I do? You sell little fucking cars. That's what you do. And he says, I wear $150 slacks. I wear silk shirts. I wear $800 suits, a gold watch. I wear a perfect D flawless 3-carat ring. I change cars like other guys change their fucking shoes. That's the one line if I have to choose.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the delivery of it too. And they're I told my wife this is literally them on the way to the diner. That's incredible. But he says, I'm now unmarried, so let's cut the mini moves and the bullshit and get on with this big romance. Like, in the car, even before the diner, I guess I don't know how many dates they've been on before. He tells 𝗏𝗀 that, like, hey, I met this new girl. And I love how 𝗏𝗀's like, oh, so you're going to have kids with her and marry her. And he's like, yep. Yeah. It's just like, yep, like, that's obviously the next. He's just very planned out.
Well, and there's this, I almost went with the scene where he visits 𝗏𝗀 in prison. Mostly because Willie Nelson isn't much of an actor, but I think he does a really good job in this scene. And it's because he plays this, resigned figure really, really well. The dude, like, once you get to the revelation where he goes, I got angina something, I'm not gonna live much longer. He plays that scene like a man who's resigned himself to death. He knows he's gonna die, and all he can hope for is that the people he loves can help him die on the outside and can live their life happily. So there's this thing whenever he's talking to 𝗏𝗀 and like he's like, so you're gonna marry her, you're gonna have kids, he's like, please tell me that's what's going to happen. And I think it's from his tone that Frank's like, yes, like, yeah, if almost like if that's what you need to hear, yes, that's what I'm gonna do. But there's also, I think there's a blatant confidence in Frank that he's like, yeah, no, this is the woman for me. Like,
he's like in his vision board, that's you, he tells Jesse.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, so it's a blend of things, I don't think it's just he was trying to tell him what he wanted to hear. Yeah. He truly believes it. But I do think there's something with his father figures in prison. He needs all the light he can get. Yes, I'm going to marry this girl, and yes, we're going to have kids, and so on and so forth.
Did they have a thing in prison? Were they in prison together? Is that the idea?
𝗏𝗀?
Like, is that how they know each other? Yeah. 𝗏𝗀
No, 𝗏𝗀 taught. They might have met in prison initially, but he went away for thieving in the first place. Like he says, it was only like $40 or something. That's what they caught him on. And then he got a manslaughter beef, and it was another 9 years, and so he was in there for 11 years. So that's interesting. I hadn't really considered whether I kind of took that to mean that when he was a young dude, 𝗏𝗀 kind of introduced him to the game.
Oh,
they might have gone away together.
𝗏𝗀 taught him everything he knew.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that might be the case. I just don't see how it would be possible for him to teach him everything he knows from inside.
It felt, I don't know, it didn't feel like father-son at all.
Yeah. I mean, like the closeness of the faces on the other side of the window and stuff.
Maybe that is just him knowing he's on his way out and he's just getting very personal. I don't know, but Frank was also very up close, like as well. Maybe it's just you can't really hear each other well through. I mean, it might just be a literal, you want to be private as well.
No, there's an intimacy in that moment though that I clocked as well, 𝗏𝗀
is constantly like looking at his lips as well. Like I don't know if you caught that. Like he is like constantly looking up and down, like eye contact, lips, eye contact, lip. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. And I guess, I don't know. It just felt like there was something more there, and I thought like maybe they were in prison together, and they like they were just like
there was something
they kept
there.
each other through it, like they both went through shit, like it's I don't know,
like that's my thing is that I don't know. I think that there's got to be an intimacy that comes from being in prison together. When you are, I'm assuming, because the way that I looked at it is that like he explains, I grew up in the system, like and that was another great revelation during this movie. Like whenever he's like, he dropped a series of lines that were terrible, but then he was like, I grew up in the system and I did this. So I'm more than like, if you're not willing to give a child to people who will definitely care, then what the fuck are you doing? Like
that scene was pretty awesome too. Like, It was like it did start off like pretty bad, and it's like, oh, don't make a scene, but then it's like kind of like he, I don't know, a little almost a little jet, like maybe not the best parents to give a kid to, Like in actuality,
that's the thing is that like they're not making he's not making a good impression, but that's where my line comes in. My line comes from when he visits 𝗏𝗀 in prison. And 𝗏𝗀 tells him, lie to no one. If there's somebody close to you, you'll ruin it with a lie. If they're a stranger, who the fuck are they? You got to lie to them. From that point on, he does nothing but straight shooting fucking from the hip honesty. So whenever he goes in there and like, it's not the right thing to say, but it is what he's like, he's being honest about the way he feels. Like, he's like, I will take any kid. I will take anybody, like this, and this is how I am. He's being bare bones honest about who he is and how he is, like, she asks about prison and if he, so you oversaw it. He's like, no, I was a convict. Like, I was in jail. It's really interesting to watch this really complex individual kind of show love the way he knows how to.
Yes. It's like, it's obvious, like it's his way of showing love, but it's very brutish and very not gentle. It's not a gentle love,
No.
It is very, very passionate. But like even in the diner, like she starts to pour creamer, in her coffee, and he goes, "Oh, get over it. Get her some new creamer." He's like, "It's fucking cottage cheese. Look,
what's wrong with it? It's cottage cheese. What the fuck's wrong with it?"
I'm not giving her cottage cheese cream. It wasn't even for him. For him, and it's like it's you're doing the right thing, but maybe not in the best light.
No, yeah, and that's what's really interesting about the character. He's by no means a simple man. Like he's a very, very complicated guy who is overstating how simple things are to him, like he's a much more complicated individual than he lets on. He doesn't know how to he clearly doesn't know how to process his feelings in any capacity.
No, he does not. That was another cool piece of trivia I read, that after 𝗏𝗀 passes and the doctor tells him the stare that he gives the doctor did not know what was going to be said at all. He just knew he had to deliver the news, and like apparently the actor actually got frightened a little bit by this stare. Like he was like, "Am I about to be like?" I thought he was about to punch him in the face. Like honestly, I'm like this. I feel so sorry for this doctor.
Well, and there's this there's that tone of racism.
Yeah, it's there.
Obviously, he's not like from a bit. And also, this doctor handled that fucking horrendously. By the way, if my father figure dies and the doctor comes down and is like, "All right, who's his family?" And then I go, "Me," and he goes, "I'm sorry, he didn't make it. Is there anything I can do for you?" I'm going his ass down and be like, "Are you some fucking grand bedside manner there, homie?"
Yeah, that's. I mean, mate, I don't know. I guess I gotta. No way, they usually break it to you like that, right? Like,
no,
I mean,
I think that there was an obvious degree of harshness that they were trying to get across here, and I don't know whether that's because the gentleman who was the doctor knew he wasn't as knew he wasn't actually blood related, like, so he kind of underplayed their closeness and didn't think it really mattered, or
I see.
like it was an interesting choice. And this movie's chock full of interesting choices. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for the most part, it knocks it out of the park. And I think that James Caan really anchors that moment specifically with that stare. Like, if it goes a different way, that scene becomes bad, but the way that he handles it, it becomes a great scene. You know, like,
Yeah. It's like, you couldn't tell if he wanted to beat the shit out of the guy, yell at him, cry himself, run. Like, I don't know. You could just see like all the thoughts just like going in his head.
Like, more so than any role James Caan has ever been in, this is the one where I'm like, this dude is a fucking actor. You know what I'm saying? Dude, like, he is fucking good here.
Yeah. And I almost, I don't know. I don't really think there is anyone that actually like is up to this, like his performance in the movie. Everyone I think does a good job.
Nobody. I'm not pointing to anybody in this movie and going like, "Damn, they really got outshone here." No, everybody does fine, but he does fucking phenomenally. Like
I think the more we talked about his character too, the more I'm like, no way, I'm giving it to Leo. You know, like basically the villain of the movie, I guess. He was cool and very, you know, a cool. And or I don't know, just the other side of the story.
Yeah, the antagonist of the film, you know, like cool. Whenever that switch happens and he is he holds him in the plating factory, and he's like, you know, I own your kid. You have him on loan.
Oh my!
It's
God.
Like,
everything you.
And that's when this dude's like, well, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Like, I mean, I think it would, like, probably at the car dealership after he kills his friend, he's probably already like, okay, well, yep, these dudes, they're fucked. He probably, whenever he left, at that point, did he already get shorted? Like, he already was only given 89 or whatever? Like,
yes, because he basically said he was fucking done. Like, he was never going to do another thing for them again because of that. And that's when they were like, because that's the point of the scene. He's like, you go until I say you're fucking done. You know, like,
yeah, until you're like, you work as hard as you can until you die. Or, like, I don't know, he was just, there's nothing you can do. You are mine.
Crazy little factoid here that I know you'll dig because you were talking him up. Robert Prosky, the guy who played him here, first role ever. This was his first acting role.
What the fuck? Michael Mann and Robert Prosky, two just guys that I guess got it on them whenever they're showing out for their first time. They got to make a good first impression. And
it was cool to think about the influence that we spoke on about Michael Mann on Wes Anderson, because if you'll recall, who was in Wes Anderson's first feature film in a smaller role, kind of popped up for a little bit. James Caan shows up as the like sensei, the guy Owen Wilson wants to learn from. He's got like the little pony, and he's got the, you know,
my God, wait, what? No way.
Yes. James Caan is in fact in Bottle Rocket, which this makes it makes it the fourth film we've discussed on the podcast that he is in. As we discussed both Godfather and Godfather 2, Bottle Rocket, and now this. And he has a small role in Godfather 2 as he just pops up for that one scene, but
I'm not gonna lie, I guess the movies are 15 years apart. Fair enough. He's got 15 years in between now and then.
And at this point, he's like 40.
He's looking pretty good for 40.
Good looking 40-year-old here.
The chest hair, though, boom! Whenever it came out on the beach, dude, I was like, "Whoa!" I don't know. I just
no, yeah. I've never thought a fuzzy dude was quite as attractive as James Caan here.
It worked. I mean,
it worked for him. It worked for him. I dig it. I
love the pants walking in the water.
Yes.
Look, like I one day I want some nice. I don't know what's that material. Probably like
I have no idea.
Linen. That sounds wrong.
I'm like, I don't know that you get linen wet. I like linens.
True, probably don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, but his vision board, it felt like kind of a trial of his vision. They were in San Diego, I guess, after the job was done.
him and Leo, or him and Barry, was that it?
Yeah, him and Barry and their wives.
Barry fucking tackles his fucking wife at the end of that scene, bro. Like, whenever he takes out her fucking legs, he like dives, he dead legs her with his whole fucking body.
Oh my god! I mean, he's like, it's so funny seeing the difference between the two. It's like you have Jesse and Frank who are like just taking their nice walk with their baby on the beach. He sits down digging for some seashells, gives it to his wife, and it's like you got Barry. It's like, guys, oh my god, get in the water! It's so awesome right now,
guys. It's so much fun out here, dude.
Then when he realizes that they're not getting in the water, he's like, oh, Marie! He just yells his wife's name, just sprints after her, and she knows too because she just starts running the other way. She starts
running too, bro.
Like, oh,
he blew out her fucking knee, tore her fucking meniscus on this one, man. Like this one was bad. No, I mean, like, it was cute. Like I loved the energy. And it was nice. There's this interesting thing that this movie does where it gives him that taste of that life, right? And come the end of the movie, he starts to realize that he can't have that as long as Leo and his boys are around. Because he even throws, whenever he sparks, blows up the house, blows up the bar, blows up the dealership, crumples up the vision board and tosses it out the window.
I don't know about that though. I don't know why abandon the vision? Like, I understand. Like, he knows his life here is over. I think, like, the way I read it is, he knows no matter what, the life that he has built here is done. Like, he's either dying himself when he goes to kill everyone, or he is going to kill everyone, and he obviously has to leave. So, like, I feel like that this is why he blows up his house, the cars, and all of that. And I'm like, okay, and the bar? He owned that bar?
Yes. I don't think in an official sense. But every time he'd visit, the bartender would give him like a payout. He'd be like, here's your cut.
Okay.
So I think it's an unofficial capacity that he owns the bar.
Okay, because when he blew up his house, I'm like, okay. And then, was it the bar next and then the car?
I believe so, and then the dealership after that.
Yeah, because like when he's blowing up the bar, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, oh man, that didn't really feel like yours, dude. I don't know. Like I was like, that poor bartender. I felt bad for the bartender.
That was a beautiful shot too. The bar blowing up and the glass shimmering across the screen and stuff.
Yeah, the sound of it. I wonder if that was the natural, just slowed down sound, because like there were parts where like it felt like a lot of glass hit at once or something, and it like made this crystally, like even more, I don't know, shattery sound, which was pretty cool. But the crumpling up of the vision board, I don't know. In my
that comes down to how you might interpret the ending here.
Yeah. Where does
one
he do?
thing I would love to believe that he kills these people, goes off, finds Jesse and his kid, and they live happily ever after. I think the rough reality is that he doesn't get away with triple homicide, and arson, and all this stuff. I think there's a really good chance homie goes to prison for life, and that's why he threw away the vision board, and he knew that he was going to.
Yeah, because he just says Joseph. I love that's the dude's name. That, I don't know. Was he really in the movie at all before? I feel like he was mentioned.
Hardly. He was there at the beginning for the first heist, and I think he kind of helps in the LA job, if I remember correctly, but beyond that, no.
Okay, but yeah, he's just give him $20,000 for the first month, $25,000 for the second month, whatever. He never says like where they're going. I guess like if he's in contact with him, if he knows how to contact Joseph, maybe there's like he knows where they're gonna go, so he can pop out. But
I took it to mean that Joseph's like deciding where they go.
Yeah. I thought, or maybe he said, like, you tell him where you want to go, or something.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, Joseph will take you anywhere you want to go, I think is what he says. Yeah.
Because it felt like part of it was, if I do make it out of this alive, I would
like to come
somehow.
find you. Yeah.
I can find them somehow. If not, they are still set up.
Right.
If I do die. Like, he would have to leave right then and there. Like, he's walking on that sidewalk. He has to go get on a plane somewhere. Yeah, but he's all bloody and shit, you know? Like, he got shot in the shoulder or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought he was ripping his shirt off to show he had a bulletproof vest on or something like that. You know, usually that happens in movies, and they're like, ugh! You know, they have to show that they have a bulletproof vest on for the camera. But obviously, if you're in that situation, you probably have a broken rib and like your lungs bruised, and you're like, you don't think in the moment to show everybody, look at my bulletproof vest. But yeah, no bulletproof vest at all. He's just like, look at my fucking scars. Look at all this blood. I'm fucking.
I took it as sort of like he had to see it to believe it, almost like he felt it, and he like
oh shit, is that
like, oh yep, definitely just got shot.
Yep, that's real. That's probably actually the harsh reality. You feel the pain, but like, I hope
wants to make sure he didn't just get clipped, or like wants to make sure that he did just get clipped. Maybe it's just maybe it's just a little boop, something skimming me. Nope, straight through the fucking shoulder. And I think the tone that the last scene kind of takes on becomes really interesting because of the score, which is what I think kind of earned it a Razzie. Because tonally, it is quite the shift. It becomes this sort of exploitation vibe of a film, Roger Corman production sort of thing, where it's harshly edited. That we strike slow-mo and got bunch of blood, and like when Leo gets shot, and it's like the squibs are fucking leaking, bro. Like it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Leo. That's right. Oh, Leo. I was thinking about freaking.
Oh, Barry. Yeah, Barry, that's even crazier.
He gets out, but Leo. Oh my god, dude. And like
Leo, it doesn't even like
his death is as well. He's like, he gets shot twice. He's laying down. He's like,
he grabs the gun and puts it back in his hand, and then falls again. Like, so that's the thing, is that like I think it's very much so going for that 70s Roger Corman exploitation film sort of thing. Which is an interesting way to end this movie, because the more we talked about it, the more I could see how parts of it had that sort of vibe, like the going to the Smith and being like, this is what I need, can you hook me up, that sort of thing. Like it's it has a little bit of that, but whenever he gets shot and he falls to the ground and then it cuts back and he's on his stomach, it reminded me of that SNL skit.
What you say? Oh my god, yes, thank you. I felt the same exact thing. I'm like, dude, well, no fucking shot. Maybe this is where SNL got it from. Someone's watching this movie and they're like, dude, this would be kind of no.
And that's because like and it's edited fine. Like it's not like actively bad editing, but there's no like establishing shot that showed him get into that position. He's just like all of a sudden in that position. You know what I'm saying? Like when he clears the corner and shoots Leo, all they showed was the gun peeking into the room. It shows Leo come out like this, and then he's in the room fully pulling the trigger. And it's like, wait.
It was a weird sequence. I mean, definitely was. It didn't fit the rest of the movie, really.
No, it's a bold swing. And I don't think it's bad. I don't think that it's not a great ending to a great movie. It's a fine ending to a great movie, though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's I
mean, you're blowing shit up. You're killing people. Everything else, even though it was criminal and illegal, it was not murder and blowing up shit. Like this is
the other thing that made me think that might be why he throws away the vision board, is because he's about to become someone who doesn't do that. Like it's once, because I know he says he caught a manslaughter beef, but like literally within the confines of manslaughter is that you did not mean to kill someone, you happened to kill someone. This guy is out to is out to commit first degree murder. You know, like he's planning to kill these people and is going to kill these people. So maybe there's something in him that feels like he needs to separate himself from Jesse and his kid so that they can live without him, you know?
Ooh, okay.
Maybe there's this sort of thing where like he knows he's about to do something he'll never be able to forgive himself for, and therefore he knows they won't forgive him for it either. Like there's in a lot of interesting ways, because it's a pretty open ending. You know, he's out from under the thumb of Leo, but where does he go from there?
I mean,
Greg?
I was more of thinking it was just like a failsafe no matter what. You know, like he left her in a very like not like very mean, you know, like get the fuck out of here, get the kid, go here. This isn't how it was going to turn out. Like I think he did that to make Jesse more comfortable. If it didn't go right, you know, it's like, well, at least he was an asshole, you know, or whatever. So it's fine. But maybe there is some like he's actually just breaking it off. Like he knows like there is no shot. I do.
Yeah, there is no coming back from this sort of, because I think that's something that he spends a lot of time concerning himself with, is that like he cares about the people he loves' perception of him, you know, and how do you come back from this almost? And I think that maybe I like to think that he goes and tries to find them. And that's the tone the ending is going for. That's why it's all of a sudden really elevated and exploitation-y. It's like, okay, he's the last action hero sort of thing. Like he's doing the thing to get it done, and he's going to go live the life he wants. But tonally doesn't feel like that's the case.
Him throwing the vision board down, I think, kind of seals the deal there.
Yeah,
I think
I do too.
He kind of knew this was the end. Man, yeah, unless he did have some. Was Barry, like, wasn't there one other friend that he had, maybe, other than Joseph, that he did some jobs with? I don't know, like, because there were those guys that, like, tried to hijack their job or whatever. That, like, were they the police, or were they just, or they were just the police?
They were police officers who wanted to be paid off so that they did not arrest him, but he knew that they don't have anything to arrest him for. They don't have any proof, so he didn't do anything about it. That's another wonderful part of this movie. The guy who plays 𝗠𝗏, John Santucci, one of the consultants on this film and a former thief.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Very cool.
So, like, the people who were chasing him, like, have the beeper on his car, the tracker on his car, or whatever.
Yes.
Those are just cops.
They're doing their best to get his ass.
Yeah.
You know? Wow. And he's sending them off to fucking Des Moines, Iowa.
That was incredible. That was, like, oh, stop, you're gonna, stop, he's gonna see us, if we're gonna see us following him, and it's like, he just drops it in the luggage, like, what a fucking...
That's some G shit. That's the thing, is that like it's fascinating what this movie has for like cops is really funny, you know, like they're complete dumbasses. They want to be cut in. The only reason that they don't arrest him is out of the hopes that they get cut in, and once he's officially like fuck you guys, they're like, well, let's take him down, you know, like that's so it's
wow. Oh man, yeah.
Driving without a taillight, asshole, and they smash it, you know.
Yeah, those guys sucked.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
But yeah, I guess he has no one. There's like no one left there for him at all. He have any money? Like where he $410,000?
I have the feeling that's all the money he had. Yeah,
like,
he set them up with it.
I don't think he has anything left.
That's why I'm like, I think, like, I would love to think he's going to find them and that's it, but there's a decent chance because he's kind of walking into this void almost that maybe he's resigned himself the way that 𝗏𝗀 had earlier in the movie. You know, he's out from under the thumb of these people and he's ready to die.
Oh, shit.
You know,
remember the story in the diner when he was like you just gotta not give a fuck or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I was void of everything, basically.
Mm-hmm. You can't be afraid.
I walked into that yard and I thought it was over, but nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was like nothing happened. Maybe it's like another one of those moments for him where he's like, I'm resigning myself to nothing. I'm losing everything. I'm void. Whatever happens, just happens. Like he's
right.
in zero fucks mode right now. And that's why the vision board had to go. That's why everything just had to go. It's like, no, I don't give any fucks. Whatever happens, happens. I'm going to kill these guys. And if I walk out of it, I walk out of it. If I don't, I don't. And, I mean, because where's he going? He's shot in the shoulder. If he goes to the hospital, they're going to be like, your house and your one official business and one just random business.
Yeah.
And, all blew up in the same night. Interesting. And now you're in the hospital, shot
with
after
a gunshot wound in your fucking chest.
For a triple homicide, as well occurred that night.
Yeah, so I think bro did what had to be done, set the love of his life and his child up, and that was it, Yeah.
Wow. He understands the cycle, death is part of it. And was he on the vision board at all? Now that I think about it. I think, was it like, because I don't even remember whenever he said, like, this is you on the vision board. I don't even remember seeing, like, a girl. I just remember seeing 𝗏𝗀's face. That was very prominent.
Yeah, 𝗏𝗀's was pretty prominent. Let's see.
Thief vision board. Okay. Wow, that didn't pop up. Maybe Frank's vision board will do it. There it is. Okay, there's the black Cadillac. That's one of them. That's awesome. His car. He's already got it. 𝗏𝗀. I mean, it looks like there's skulls. A baby, like a daughter holding. Oh, maybe that's a mother holding a baby. It kind of looks more of like a young girl holding a baby, though. And just a couple other kids. Doesn't really look like there's one adult girl. Okay. Yeah, I see it now. In a wedding, kind of very nicely dressed in the middle of the vision board. Maybe that's what he points to there.
Yeah, it's like a family.
Yeah. So maybe that's it. But
a house, a car, a family.
Doesn't really look like he's in there though. I don't see him in there anywhere. A lot of daughter, son, mother. So maybe that he knew this. Maybe he's
there's a little bit of a foreshadowing there that he's not a part of the future he's setting up for his family.
Yeah. Because I mean, it seemed that he gave them everything. Like,
he did.
Yeah, I guess he was hoping to get $810,000, and that was like, "Yup, I'm good forever." Like, if you already had $400,000 in the bank. And you're about to get $800,000, like
making yourself a millionaire and getting the fuck out. Yeah,
you're about to double your money, or I guess triple your money, technically. But yeah, that's pretty good. I'd say you could do pretty well. But man, yeah, in my head, I instantly headcanoned that he flew to wherever they were. But
I don't think he did.
I don't think that's
which
the
sucks.
Case.
Which sucks, but man, it's a good fucking movie. Is there anything else we have to talk about, or are we ready for a rating here?
Might be the only thing if you haven't said your. I don't know if you did.
I don't think I've said mine.
But it was between the alleyway, and all the fire escapes and rain. It just started at the top of the buildings,
the
slowly
moon,
went down.
and
Yeah. Slowly went down. You saw the rainfall, all the fire escapes, and then like it got down to the street level, and then Frank just like walks into frame and like gets in his car or something. I think that's literally all that happens.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just really beautiful. It was between that and I don't know when it is. It's Frank's driving. I think it's more near the end of the movie. But it's just on the street. It's just the hood of his Cadillac driving down like a street with a bunch of bright lights.
Oh yeah, and it's just I remember seeing that, and it's like the front of the hood's at the top of the screen, and the road's moving at the yeah.
Oh no, it just his hood. It was just really cool. I don't know. I thought like just why not? You know, like it was that's like kind of the whole movie was like a lot of things that didn't need to be a visual
some dope
moment.
Fucking insert shots, man. Yeah. Whenever they're recording the system for the alarm and he sets up the recorder and it's just a shot of the recorder for a second, everything else is blurred out. Like fucking awesome, you know? And that's one of those things that I was like, Wes. You know, I was like, Wes Anderson fucking loved that.
Mexico, and he starts walking down the stairs. It just keeps that shot of like just all the way down the stairwell, and you just see him going down.
There's a shot like that in The Killer, literally last week.
I did get some Killer vibes.
Yeah, very, very. I mean, I think the color palette, Fincher was like, "This is what I'm gonna do." You know, sewer green, this weird moody blue, and piss yellow. There's not a lot of piss yellow in this, but there's a lot of sewer green.
I even get some After Hours vibes a little bit, like just what a crazy fucking sequence of events that happens. It's just on one thing to the next. In the city, you know, nighttime vibes to it. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm coming away from this one very, very pleased.
Yeah, I ended up going with it's cool that you picked the lights reflecting off of the hood of the Cadillac because mine is very similar. Different setting, but very similar. It's when he's burning the dealership to the ground. And he set a car on fire and he walks into his car. It's right before he throws the vision board out.
Okay.
And he's sitting in the driver's seat. All the lights at the dealership are reflecting off like the top of the car, the hood of the car. There's flames right there. Like fucking gorgeous, dude. Like I was blown away by the visual prowess of this movie. And Michael Mann, one of the more talented visual filmmakers, which is why, like, judging by what I have seen, specifically in this and Heat. Collateral, I don't recall being blown away by the visuals in that movie, but I'm encouraged to see what Manhunter is all about next week. But yeah, are we ready for a rating on this bad boy?
I think so. I think we have covered it all by now. So yeah, enjoyment is interesting. I think like it's going to do very, very well critically, but I don't enjoyment. It's. I mean, I'm riveted the whole time. I'm in it.
Yeah, but there's no like emotional like. I'm never crying. You know, like I don't get to that. I don't get to that point. But I do care. You know, I definitely care. There's not like I just don't give a shit about these characters. Like I want them to be. I want everything to work out. You know.
I even though I know Frank is not the best guy, I'm still rooting for him, and it's like I feel that he like deep down wants to be a good guy, and
for sure
he wants to get out, and it's that classic trope of a thief that I promise this is the last job.
Oh dude, you're gonna fucking love Heat. Like, Heat is the spirit sequel to this movie. Like, so awesome. Completely.
I'm ready for that then. Yeah, that'll be fun. But
I mean, and that one's got Al Pacino and Bob De Niro and Val Kilmer. Like, that's a fucking
okay, yeah. But no, this one's starting off with a bang for Michael Mann for me. I was very pleased. Very little expectations. And he set the bar pretty high here at the start. So, I think I don't know what to compare this to for enjoyment. maybe like
Maybe The Killer.
okay, very
You know,
recent.
you mentioned After Hours a little bit. There's something there.
There's an 875. Okay. The Rat Catcher, also a short, kind of a little different, but
Rushmore's an
Rushmore.
875.
Okay, I think I might be there. Because like the visuals of it are enough to boost the enjoyment category, like a bit for not necessarily having that emotional impact. I think 875 is fair.
I think that's about where I fall. You know, I truly think The Killer is probably our best comparison to this movie. Like a ton of visual prowess. I think even narratively, this is obviously tighter and more, more.
Like this
you know,
more
just in general.
Yeah.
You know, The Killer gives us that epilogue where it's like, and he did go home, and he did live out his life with the family he has, and you know, so like.
We were wanting more of the relationship between, you know, in The Killer. We're like, man, show us a little bit more of that.
That's what this one provides for us. You know,
here.
it gives us the real life stuff.
A lot of other relationships as well. Relationship with Leo, a relationship with or Bernie,
an actual character having interactions with other people, not being resorted to his solitude and dealing with himself the whole fucking time.
Exactly. I guess one is killing and one is stealing. So
very big difference.
Difference. I love how he's like, I only steal cash and diamonds. Diamonds, it's like the dumbest thing to me ever. Carbon is the most abundant material we have. We're made of carbon. You can smash your own body into a diamond if you want. Like, we have enough carbon to do so. And like, it's not that diamonds are rare. That makes them expensive. It is literally, there is a monopoly over diamonds where a company, I think like one or two companies, like control the complete distribution of diamonds. They only allow a certain amount to go out at a time. And that's the only reason that they are expensive. Like, they do look pretty.
Well, it's also an extremely profitable industry because they don't pay anything to have diamond mines explored. It's probably amongst the most unethical.
It's insane.
Industries
in existence. I will gladly put that on my finger until the day I die, and that kind of boggles my mind. Like, I do want a nice looking ring, for whoever I get with, but like me, just give me just a straight up gold band.
Gold bands are dope, man. I love a gold band.
All I need.
But that's why I fucked with Frank though, is that he was like, fuck that, I'm gonna steal the shit, you know.
And these two guys' jobs that are fucking sitting up there just guarding, like, is that their job? Literally, they have so much money that they're like, yeah, we can pay 2 security guards to actually live like millionaires, basically. You know, like, the fuck, like, so crazy. Dope. Frank is cool. Frank is cool.
Yeah.
He's like, no cowboy shit.
He's like a better Jordan Belfort. You know what I'm saying? He steals from the rich and gives to himself.
Yes. Exactly. Oh my god. And he's not even in it for the long haul. He's in it to set up some other people. Look at him.
Exactly. No, like, he's an actually loving husband and a caring father. He is like, Jordan Belfort is like the evil Frank.
Wow, that's insane. This movie has like subtle inspirations in a lot of different things. It's kind of nuts. Like, seeing it.
I think quality-wise, this is an astonishingly good movie, man.
It's like a chain of inspiration, you know. Like, you saw like some Batman stuff, but that was inspired by like Seven and Fincher.
Yeah, Fincher.
And like Fight Club,
Fincher was evidently inspired by this.
Which is really cool. And then The Killer. Coming out, like, even feels like there's some inspiration there. Fight Club, I feel like, there vibes from like a lot.
I think Fincher's visual palette is just so influenced by Michael Mann, and specifically this movie. Like, it's absurd.
Yeah, this was awesome. What a great!
The stories he sets out to tell. Like, he makes stories about criminals and about like and There was a fun tweet the other day that was like, what is a in a director's filmography, what is one title of one of their movies that could apply to all of their movies? And someone pointed out that Michael Mann's Heat could apply to every Michael Mann movie.
Hey.
You could put that over any Michael Mann movie and it makes sense. And it's very, very true, you know?
What is Wes's movie like that?
Wes, that's a little bit more complicated, you know, because that was the thing, is that it was like, what filmmaker has that? It wasn't like every filmmaker has that. It was
true.
Like...
It would be very difficult.
Someone pointed out that Tarantino's Pulp Fiction has a little bit of that. And I can see that to an extent, but...
Pulp Fiction? Okay. That's okay.
But yeah, no, I was like, yeah, Michael Mann's Heat could apply to every single Michael Mann movie that I've seen anyway, and it would track.
I had all these movies messed up for some reason. I had the order way off. I didn't even have Miami Vice up in here. What? There, okay. Manhunter, Miami Vice, Heat, Collateral.
Manhunter, Heat, Collateral, Miami Vice.
Okay. Wow.
Miami Vice will be the last one we cover
I had
before
it wrong
Ferrari.
on the calendar and the Excel sheet. Hold on. One more time to confirm. Manhunter,
Heat, Collateral, Miami Vice, Ferrari.
Wow. This is how unknowing I am of this Michael Mann selection of movies. Like, I didn't even know which ones came first or what order we were going in. So...
Yeah, and I think it's funny that we're doing Miami Vice as like the last one before Ferrari. That came out in like 2006. He's had several movies since then.
Okay. Hey. But I like the vibes of Miami Vice story. I feel like I would have liked that movie. I'm gonna...
It's interesting that this is the set of movies we've chosen for our anticipation of Ferrari. It feels like Ferrari, he's taken like a big swing that's a little bit outside his comfort zone and not exactly the sort of story he usually tells. So I'm excited for it, but critically, how are we feeling about this movie? Is this it's above a 9 for me.
Yeah, I think it was better made than The Killer. And like you go there, 925, there's The Social Network, Casino.
I think it's finding its company a little bit more there.
Yeah.
Dunkirk, yeah.
I like that.
Moonrise Kingdom.
9.5. Let's see. Could it elevate to an Oppenheimer? Could it elevate to a Little Women?
I feel like there's a leap between 2.5 and 5 for us there.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's quite an Oppenheimer or a Little Women.
I also think Oppenheimer, in retrospect, I'd throw
probably
it
a 9.75.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been itching.
Because we did that after the first viewing, and then I watched it again. And now I desperately want to watch it a third time as soon as I possibly can. And then probably a fourth time as soon as I possibly can after that. You know what I'm saying?
Nolan has that magnetic...
That's what's crazy, is I talked a lot during that spotlight about how I wasn't a huge Christopher Nolan fan. The further removed we are from it, the more I'm like, God damn, I like him, you know?
Tenet has been growing so much for me. Interstellar was already there, and I'm like, I already love Prestige. So like a lot of these, I'm like, I already fuck with Nolan. And then every movie I watched, I'm like, damn, this dude just fucking...
Well, that's what's crazy, is Oppenheimer really just redefined that dude's filmography for me. Like, I thought, like, no doubt, Interstellar, Dark Knight, 1, 2. Oppenheimer can be 3. I am, as of this fucking moment, certain that my number one Nolan film is Oppenheimer. And I have no doubt about that. I have no doubt about that. But this is Michael Mann. And I do think that 925 is suitable for Thief, if that is where you're comfortable coming down at.
Oh, I like it. It's in very respectable company with The Social Network. Very, very well made. Dunkirk, another one that is just visually and just incredibly well done. I feel like that it's in very, very correct company. So
that ends up shaking out to the exact same rating as Casino, with the exact same metrics there, 8.75 and a 9.25. Yeah, I dig that. I think it's a good pairing there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Good old IMDb gives it a 7.4. Interesting. And on the Rotten Tomato meter, 80% critically and
pretty fucking
81%
strong.
audience score. So pretty even there.
I think the most impressive thing here would be its Letterboxd at a 4.1. If you're going north of 4, if you're going north of 4 on Letterboxd, you're doing pretty fucking good.
I gave it a 4.5 and a like.
I think I did as well. Yes, I gave it a 4.5 as well.
Yeah, the like is always interesting to me. It's like I don't know when to hit it. I don't know when the situation is right to not hit it. Really,
that's my thing. I use the like function automatically on Letterboxd. Like the movie has to be god fucking awful for me to go, I did not like this. You know, for me to not hit the heart on Letterboxd, I have to have actively regretted watching the movie. Like, I have to be like, I wasted hours of my life, and I cannot remember the last time I didn't hit the like button on Letterboxd. Let's see if I can find it.
Okay, well, I don't have many movies, and I was scrolling down, and I've hit it on every single one. I thought Barbie didn't have one, but Letterboxd just made the heart pink for Barbie. I did not hit it for The Flash, I guess.
That might be purposeful as well.
X-Men Apocalypse, I feel like I just forgot to hit it. That was my second ever entry. Oh, never mind. I have another page. Ant-Man Quantumania didn't get it. Uh-oh. Yeah, I guess I don't think I was used. Oh, Morbius. 0 stars, no like. That one's actually true.
The last movie I did not hit the like button on, and this is July 25th, 2023. So we are 4 months removed, and I watch an ungodly amount of movies. This is probably over 100 movies ago. It was Bus Stop from 1956, starring Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, wow! Is that a true no like?
I meant that. I also gave it a 2-star rating. It was a bad movie, mostly because it just had a really horrendous message. It was in a time whenever, like, I'll read the review I gave for it here. There's a very valuable lesson in here for men. If you see a woman you'd like to marry upon first sight, simply kidnap her and tell her that you're taking her back to Montana to wed. When she becomes obviously frightened and uncomfortable, just keep kidnapping her. But when other people finally begin to tell you you're wrong, something they've been oddly hesitant to tell you before, fist fight that person who told you you're wrong. Get your ass kicked and then humbly apologize to the woman you kidnapped. She'll come back to Montana and marry you for sure. That's the idea, is that this man just kept kidnapping this woman. She was very not a fan. He gets his ass kicked, and he's like, I'm so sorry that I did that. I realize now I shouldn't have done that. And she's like, you know what? It's okay. Let's go get married. Bye.
Wow.
Yeah, no. Terrible fucking movie. Terrible fucking concept. But Marilyn Monroe rocks. I love Marilyn Monroe.
Wow, that's incredible. That's actually insane that exists.
Yep, 1956, baby. A different time. Okay. And I'd be willing to bet the last one I didn't hit the like button for before that was probably Catwoman.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have that logged, actually, now that I think about it. I don't really... I do forget a lot of times to log movies. I've been trying to get better. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have Catwoman. But the first movie I ever logged was The Batman on March 4th. 2022. So even when did that come out?
That's when you would have seen it in theaters.
Oh, it did come out in March?
Yep.
Okay, so that's when I started my Letterboxd career.
Yep, and the last one was May 3rd, 2023. Catwoman, 1.5 stars. Even less than Bus Stop with that premise.
Nice. Catwoman was just rough, but okay.
Yeah. No, I am just a overwhelmingly positive Letterboxd user. So if I give something a bad rating, it is a fucking terrible movie. That's just if something gets below 3 stars for me,
it's got to do something wrong.
It's got to be pretty fucking bad or pretty unenjoyable. But even movies that are really well done, like if a movie is well done, it's pretty much automatically getting a 4.
Yeah.
You know,
I rarely a 3.5. That's like already pretty pretty bad.
I gave Shazam: Fury of the Gods a 3.5. 3.5's a pretty a popular rating for me. I use that quite a bit for movies that are just kind of middling.
Yeah.
Blade Trinity got a 3.5. The Tomorrow War got a 3.5. Let's see. Dawn of the Dead got a 3.5. The Zack Snyder one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lots of 3.5s. But
okay, yeah.
no, this is certainly not a 3.5. This is a 9 out of 10, baby. This is a near perfect movie. I fucking love this movie. And I won't soon tire of watching it. I think that this was my second viewing. Sure as shit won't be my last if I had to wager. Yeah, I liked this a whole lot, and I cannot wait to continue forth with Michael Mann next week with Manhunter. I'm very excited for that.
Oh, yeah.
Super excited.
Manhunter. I don't really even. Oh wait, is this the
Hannibal Lecter movie?
Okay,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
that is all I know, and I don't even know anything about Hannibal Lecter really.
Yeah, Brian Cox plays Hannibal
Lambs.
Lecter. I know that he's a cannibal named Hannibal. Which makes
oh,
sense.
I thought you were about to say Brian Cox was a known cannibal in real life.
Oh no, yeah, sorry. Social Network probably gave you a precedent for me actually mentioning
another one.
Cannibals.
I'm like, what is up with these actors? What is
nope,
going on?
that was just Armie Hammer, as far as I know.
Okay, that's good. I'd rather keep it limited. But
yeah, no, Brian Cox, by all accounts, seems fine.
Okay, yeah, I know nothing other than the movie poster, looking a little comic-y.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
So,
but yeah, with that, we'll conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of book reviews, movie reviews, comic book reviews, and the like. Recently, a High Republic novel was published for the Star Wars universe, The Eye of Darkness, and I'm sure that as soon as I finish that, I'll be writing a review, and that is where it'll go up. I wrote a review for the Marvels a couple weeks back. We're going to see Napoleon. We might have just seen Napoleon, or is that next week?
Manhunter Thief. Is it next Monday that we're seeing it in real life? The 20th.
It'll be the Monday after that.
Is it so it's the 27th? Then
that's when we're seeing.
That's when Manhunter releases that.
Okay. So next week we're going to see Napoleon, and we'll either do a Patreon discussion about it or I'll write a review for it. And there we will, you get that content. It won't be available on this show. So for $3 a month, you can get the audio recording. For $1.50, you can get the written content, which is also included in the $3 tier. And that means a lot, helps me a lot, because the podcast costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast, follow on Letterboxd at PennyBloomPod. We made a nice little list of every movie we have ever covered, and this one will have been added to that list today. So go ahead and check that out. It's been fun adding a little blurb, adding the link to it and everything. It's very satisfying. I'm very happy to do it every time we have an episode come out about a movie. But yeah, it's been a great deal of fun. So that's over there. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening, and to continue downloading. Been a good ass year. Looking forward to some more downloads in the future. Yeah, come back next week for Manhunter. We are continuing our Game of Thrones rewatch podcast next week as well, with season 6, episode 4. Episode 4 this week was episode 3. Sorry, we're recording in advance, and sometimes it's hard to say. But our comic book movie project continues this Friday with an absolute shitter.
Let's go.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. Cannot wait for that. In fact, I'll probably have to watch that as the first thing I watch after a Thief. So it's automatically coming off of a. It's non-plus, and it's already terrible. So
another first watch. I think that's the only thing I could say in common with Thief. For X-Men.
There you go. Another first watch.
So,
for me, it'll be another second watch. So there you go. I've only watched that movie once as well, but yeah.
See if there's anything else in common. Who knows? Maybe I fuck with the soundtrack. And
who knows? Maybe James Caan is in it. No, I don't know.
No way,
Probably
right?
not. I don't think so.
I was gonna say. I gotta know for sure now, but
Liev Schreiber in it. Cool. Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool is in it.
Yep. No, doesn't. Will.i.am.
Yeah, Will.i.am. Yeah.
Doesn't look like James Caan is in there.
Damn shame. Damn shame. James
Max Cullen
just kind of made every movie he was in. Elf wouldn't have been the same without James Caan.
Wow.
But yeah,
he's an elf.
With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Thank you for having me. It is always a pleasure to be here, my friend.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And yes, he is an elf. He's Buddy's dad. He's the
yes.
The father.
Now it clicks for me. I'm more of a Polar Express.
I gotta go to my room. There's a bunch of stuff. But yeah.
But all right.
With that, peace, love, and bloom. And hadn't nailed down a quote that I was going to do, and now the IMDb page won't load on my phone, so I'm stalling, you know. Peace, love, and bloom. And I have run out of time. I have lost it all. So I can't work fast enough to catch up. I can't run fast enough to catch up. And the only thing that catches me up is doing my magic act.